Should the unthinkable ever happen, what can you do to survive the disaster? When you hear the warning, you and your family must seek shelter. The warning will sound like this.
There's a feast of entertainment this Christmas on BBC One.
When you hear this warning, take shelter. Preferably in a coal cellar or a toilet with a strong lock. And look out for the symptoms of Christmas. Dizziness, nausea, Chaz and Dave. More nausea. And turning orange from Satsuma poisoning.
And remember, anyone who has come into contact with a Giles Brandreth Christmas joke book is contaminated and must be shot.
Survive Christmas. Turn Muslim now.
To Who Dares Wins. And first, today's big news. British Nuclear Fuels say they realise that something must be done about safety at Sellafield. They say another 10 accidents, and they'll have to change its name again.
After Sarah Brightman was rushed to hospital with severe shock, doctors say they suspect Andrew Lloyd Webber took his paper bag off.
We thought we'd kick it off tonight by looking at some of the headlines in tomorrow's newspapers. We've got a few early editions here, and the big story in the Sunday Mirror is Maxwell in cabinet reshuffle.
It's an amazing story, isn't it?
A hell of a big story. Yeah, what he's done, he's moved the drinks cabinet from the lounge
onto
the patio, which is a radical furniture change.
He's a brilliant man, isn't he?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Very
Any other big stories in there, Rory?
Yes, there are indeed. Maxwell cuts toenails.
Marvellous.
Dog barks at Captain Bob. Sir Robert puts up shelves all by himself. Great.
He's had a very, very busy week, hasn't he?
Yeah. Fantastic. What about the Sunday Express, Jim?
Well, they've got a shocker here on the front page. It's a Chaplin Pincher exclusive, and it reads, Khrushchev may have been working for the Russians. Bit of inside info there from Chaplin.
Let the cat among the pigeons in Whitehall.
Absolutely, yeah. But I think the perfect headline this Sunday is from The People, and it reads, Royal Corgi gives Dirty Den AIDS scare. It's got everything, hasn't it, really? Notice the interesting use of the word scare here, just in case the story isn't true.
Interesting enough, the Sunday Sport is widening its appeal. Apparently, the photos of naked women are now going to have little news stories printed on various parts of the anatomy.
That's a good idea. Obviously, they're trying to break into a new area.
Yeah, I think basically they're aiming for men who like to masturbate over nude ladies, but who also want to keep well informed about current affairs.
Obviously killing two birds with one stone there. Yeah. Julia.
Well, one new Sunday paper that will be out soon is the Sunday Throb. And we have with us tonight its editor, Bill Macready. Now, Mr. Macready, your new paper will be using very new technology, which I gather is easy to operate.
Yeah, it's marvellous. A child could use it.
Yes, in fact, children will be using it. Your employees are less than 7 years old.
That's right, we are a youth opportunities employer, yeah.
But I'm surely using children.
Yeah, but not all of our staff are children.
Oh, right.
We've got some chimpanzees, monkeys, donkeys, ex-Sun journalists, all working together in a secure, modern plant. I mean, this is the direction Fleet Street's going to have to move in if it's going to survive.
Yes. In fact, what kind of paper will the Sunday Throb be?
Well, it's a basic fact of life, love, that tits sell newspapers. So we've got Peregrine Worsthorne writing for ours.
Well, since everybody else is doing it, we thought on Who Dares Wins that we'd start our own newspaper, which comes out next Sunday. So what we need is a really juicy, exclusive story for the first page. So I've got £500 here, £500 in cash, which I'm prepared to give to anyone in our studio audience who will admit that they've slept with Ian Botham. 500 quid here for anyone who admits they've slept with Guy the Griller, as he's known. Come on. Anybody here sleep with Ian Botham? I'm sorry, yes? Somebody... This bloke whispered yes to his girlfriend. Obviously too shy to put up his hand. So, how was it? All right. You've actually slept with a guy the Griller, as he's known. Was it good? What, better than what you used to, is it? See, actually, you're probably a bit younger than him, aren't you? Slightly? Yeah. You're not by any chance Jewish, are you? No. Well, isn't that interesting? I think we've got our front page headline. Night of joy for Guy's gay toy goy.
Later on, Edwina Curry entertains the Invisible Man. But first...
Starting soon on BBC One, Juliet Benedicta.
Sorry, Tom, I've got to go. It's nearly time for Vespers.
Can't you skip it just for once? I'm sure they get along fine without you.
No, Tom, I can't.
You mean you don't want to? It's always the same. You can't forget that flipping job of yours for one moment.
Tom, I'm a monk. Either you accept that or you don't. But either way, please don't ask me to give it up because I can't.
All right. Go out and do your flipping praying. But just don't expect me to be here when you get back, that's all.
Juliet Benedicta, a woman in conflict.
Now, you look here, Juliet Benedicta.
No, you look here. I know you don't like me, Abbott, and I know why, because I'm a woman. But just you get this. I'm also a monk, and I happen to think I'm a bloody good monk. I've worked twice as hard as any man monk to get where I am. If you think I'm going to give all that up, then you must be mad. I'm here to stay, so you better get used to it, because as far as I'm concerned, I can out-monk a lot of you. Well, what do you say to that?
Glad to have you on board.
That's Juliet Benedicta, a woman of today, struggling to make it in a man's world of 600 years ago.
And now, tonight's competition. Which of the following excuses did President Reagan not use during the Iran scandal? No one told the president. No one told him he was the president. It wasn't him, it was George Bush. It wasn't him, it was Kate Bush. It wasn't him, it was A. Bush. And the first prize will be a BBC sweater, Russell Harty. I've just been handed a piece of late news. Labour's defence policy was today described as impractical and naive by the United States Secretary for knocking missiles out of the sky with ray guns and great big mirrors.
914 AD, and the east coast of England is being set ablaze by the rapacious Vikings. Led by Olaf the Butcher, the Norsemen give no quarter to man nor woman.
Should we be doing this?
What?
Well, it's just that I've been thinking. All this raping and pillaging, we're being very negative, aren't we?
It is the Viking way!
The way of our forefathers!
Yes, I accept all that, but Isn't that rather a lazy way of thinking?
I agree.
Silence, wench!
She's merely expressing an opinion.
She is my slave.
Oh, I see, so that invalidates her opinion, does it?
She is my slave. So now I will take her.
Oh, I see.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it's just that it seems to me that what we're doing here really is compensating for doubts about our own masculinity.
I agree.
Shut up! We always rape and pillage.
Well, I think we should have a meeting about it.
Well, you don't have a meeting and I'll go and put the kettle...
No! Vikings don't have meetings! Vikings just do it! Ah! To the great god Thor!
I offer the head of my enemy!
Oh, it's my husband!
Now, that is exactly the kind of counterproductive thing I was talking about. Was that absolutely necessary?
It is tribute to Thor!
I see. We can't think of a good reason, so we rely on I did it for Thor.
I won this head. He was my foe.
Oh, and that justifies it, does it?
I don't know. Never really thought about it before. Force of habit, I suppose.
So what do we say?
Sorry.
No! You are Olaf the Butcher! You don't say sorry!
Listen, look. I'm going home. He spoiled it for me.
No, Lars, please come back. No, Lars, please, we're going to pillage. Oh, Lars, please.
I'm sorry about all this. We'll pay for any damage, all right?
Sorry about your husband's head.
And so the Norsemen sailed home, where their chieftain, Olaf the Butcher, was deposed by Sven the socially responsible. Soon the Viking ceased to be a rapacious warrior and became instead the namby-pamby liberal-minded boor that is the modern Scandinavian.
I don't see what's funny about that.
Neither do I.
Oi, come on, clear off. How did they get in here, bloody Swedes? Come on now, off it, come on. Oi, come on, oi.
You're looking at a lost moment of Charlie Chaplin. Just one of many recently discovered outtakes, movie gems which go to make the undiscovered Chaplin.
Hello, and welcome to Review. Now, Rory, what have you been... Oh! We're very pleased to announce that Joan Collins has got married for the 5th time. Well, congratulations and good luck, Joan. That's very good news. Anyway, Rory, what have you been up to this week?
Well, I was up at Wembley for the Eurythmics concert during the week.
And did you enjoy it?
I'll tell you, before the show, I bought this fantastic T-shirt. This is the tour T-shirt, which is a lovely, lovely thing. That's
very nice.
I got the sweatshirt, which is very, very good. It's rather nice. It's quite good quality. And I got a lovely colour poster, which going out to Annie Lennox.
Oh, yeah,
everybody.
it's like the album cover. So what about the concert, then?
I couldn't afford to go and see that. No, I just hitchhiked home. Oh, right, look. Some late news. Oh, Joan Collins has divorced her 5th husband. Never mind, it lasted longer than the other 4, didn't it? So, Juliet, what have you been up to this week?
Oh, well, I've been reading this very good book by Martin Amis about an offensive, drunken, arrogant, boring writer.
Oh, it's autobiographical, is it?
Oh, no. It's about his father.
Oh, that's interesting, because I've reading a book by Kingsley Amis, which is also about an offensive, boring, drunken, arrogant writer.
Which is presumably about his son.
Yeah, that is autobiographical.
Oh.
Any other books?
Oh, yeah, I've been reading a very good book about women and self-defence.
So, what should a woman do when she actually comes face to face with her assailant?
Well, the most important thing, Rory, is to remain calm and initially to appear to be playing along with him so that when he approaches you, you let him touch you if he wants to. You let him put his arm round you, let him kiss you on the lips, let him put his tongue in your mouth, let him marry you, bear his children, laugh at his jokes, buy him nice Christmas presents and help him with the wallpapering. And then when he's about 65, just about to retire, when he's asleep, make sure it's absolutely safe and then stab him.
Fantastic. Some late news. We've just heard that child psychologists say it was wrong of Prince Charles to take Prince William hunting, as he's too young to cope with the sheer brutality and horror of seeing upper-class people after a few drinks.
The undiscovered Chaplin. More recently unearthed outtakes, which show the magical Chaplin at work. Here we see him in romantic mood with leading lady Irene Daniels. This scene was sadly never completed. And it proved to be Irene's last picture with Charlie.
Mrs. Ferguson, I know what a terribly difficult time this is for you, but there are one or two matters that we need to sort out before we can embark on what we call the laying out of your husband.
I understand.
Well, the object is to achieve a lifelike representation of the dear departed. So, with this in mind, I'd like to ask you a few questions, all right?
Yes, I understand, so ask away.
Good. Well then, first of all, there's the matter of the eyes. Would you like them to swivel at all?
Swivel?
Yes, it's a relatively simple cable operation, just from side to side. The effect is very pleasing.
Well, no, I think we rather envisaged him having them closed.
Closed, yes, closed.
I see. Both closed?
Well, yes.
You don't fancy the occasional wink at all?
No.
Can always get a very good response. It's a real icebreaker, you know?
No, I'm sorry, but...
I think we'd prefer it if he was just lying there with his eyes closed, looking at peace.
As though he were asleep?
Yes.
How about a snore, then?
No.
Or I could get him to roll over from time to time. What about dancing? I mean, that's very easy. I just run a low voltage through him. That gets to get a very good response, too. I mean, there's no visible wires. It's just perfectly...
No, I don't want him to move.
Well, he doesn't have to move a lot. What about if I get his ears to wiggle? Just slightly. It'll be very discreet, but at least it'll make it look as though we've made an effort.
Listen, I think my sister would prefer it if her husband was just lying perfectly still with his eyes closed, all right?
Yes. It is a bit of a waste, though, isn't it? I mean, there he is, the star attraction. People have come from miles around to see him, and he isn't actually doing anything. I mean, there is such a thing as professional pride, you know. We do like our corpses to be remembered. Get him to do a few magic tricks, contortions. One of our corpses actually won new faces last year.
I'm sorry. If you're not going to treat my husband with proper respect, I'm going to have to take him somewhere else.
All right, Mrs. Ferguson, if you feel that strongly about it, I'll arrange for your husband's remains to be brought round to you first thing in the morning.
Yes, well, thank you very much. Goodbye.
Come on, Jean.
Jerry, rush job. Get Ferguson's corpse into the workshop, could you? Yeah, I want him to be able to jog home by tomorrow morning.
Right, Chief. The First tell me what you think of Mr. Baker here.
Thank you very much and welcome back to the show. More late news. Cecil Parkinson is rumoured to be making a comeback into Mrs. Thatcher's cabinet as Minister without Secretary.
So serious this time. I see.
Well, can you blame me? I mean, it's obvious to me, Tom, that you don't care anymore. If you did, you wouldn't act so appallingly.
What do you mean?
Well, for a start, there's the drink. Oh, true, you're off the bottle now. Now you've discovered there's more in a box. You never even look for a job. Although I suppose there aren't many vacancies, are there, for a man whose only talent is sitting on the toilet and rolling a joint? You stink, don't deny it. You're the only man I know who still has his 1966 World Cup Willie soap on a rope intact. You're unfaithful. You screwed all my friends. Badly. That I could cope with, but my mother. And then to give her the clap. You lie professionally, even to our own son. What was it you said when he walked in on you in that slag from the White Horse? Don't you worry, son. Jenny's just choking on a fishbone and I'm trying to dislodge it. You realise that he was thrown out of the Cubs after that when he attempted his first aid badge? You fart in bed? You piss in the waste paper bin, you steal from my purse, you embarrass me in public, you're useless around the house, you disgust me to the very core of my being, I loathe and detest you.
But apart from that, we're okay, aren't we? While you sleep, they work. Every morning, they work. Getting the streets ready. Ready for you. With care and with precision. They do their job. In every town. And in every street. Yes, every morning, every day of every year, they do it. And they do it well. Before the city wakes. The professionals. The people who make things happen.
Thank you very much, thank you. And now more of your letters. Dear Rory, I'm a bit naive about sexual matters. So can you tell me, can I get pregnant by sitting on a warm radiator? Well, I think you are a bit naive, Brian. The answer is, of course, no, not if you wear a condom. Interesting letter here from Ron of Fulham, who writes... Well, Ron, yes, it is dangerous, probably illegal, and definitely harmful for the hedgehog. I suggest you contact a doctor or the Guinness Book of Records. Dear Rory, what really hacks me off about your letter spot is that bloke who is sitting behind you with the pink shirt and light blue jeans on. The one with a silly, inane grin. He always picks his nose, and last week had his flies undone and was playing with himself. know who he is, and that's no way for a vicar to behave. Finally, a letter here from Alison of Norwich. Dear Rory, can you explain to me the difference between fellatio and fettuccine? Well, Alison, there's absolutely no difference at all. And can you come to my pasta party tomorrow?
You mean you've actually stopped?
Yeah.
For good?
Oh, yes.
You and Peter, totally celibate?
Yes, yes. Oh, it was very simple. I mean, Peter and I still love each other. Of course we do, tremendously, but we just no longer make love. It was a very natural step to take, wasn't it, Peter?
Well, I don't think we could do without a sexual side to our relationship, could we, John?
Well, I suppose sometimes it can get a bit of a chore, darling. Nothing personal.
No, you're so right, John, so right. I mean, when we were first together, it was tremendously important to us, tremendously, but now we've moved on, you know, and sex has become secondary. Well, a chore, as you say. Hasn't it, Peter?
You never tell me it was a chore.
Only emotionally, love.
Exactly, John, exactly, and that's why Peter and I decided to abstain.
Well, I can't believe you just decided to give it up.
Well, there was nothing to it. You see, I read this tremendous book, and I've got it here. It's called Be Celibate, Be You.
Great title.
Oh, it is, and it just makes so much sense. Listen to this bit here. Sex is the enemy. It becomes a divisive force, preventing true emotional intimacy.
So true.
But surely, Sarah...
At this point, sex is hollow, basic, almost animalistic. Well, I know it was for us, wasn't it, Peter?
But surely, Sarah, I mean, after a while, one of you will want an outlet. Elsewhere.
What? You mean other people? Oh, no. You see, becoming celibate has removed the desire. We now communicate on a much higher plane, don't we, Peter?
I see.
Can I borrow it?
Sure. Oh, don't be silly, John. You still haven't finished One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Honestly, it'll change your life, I promise you.
Yes, but the way I see it, I mean, to suppress a normal sexual drive, it isn't healthy. You'll end up frustrated, bitter, unfulfilled. I mean, the stress will become unbearable.
Oh, so sad. Do I look stressed? Does Peter? See, the thing is that celibacy works for us, doesn't it, Peter?
No, it bloody doesn't.
But Peter...
Look, every time you buy one of these sodding paperbacks, our lifestyle has to completely change. A couple of years ago, it was teach yourself reincarnation. I didn't mind regressing back to former lives. I could have done without knowing I was Adolf Hitler's favourite auntie, but I didn't mind. Then last year it was inner peace through hang gliding. Marvellous. I didn't mind the couple of broken legs and the extended stay in the intensive care unit. Didn't mind. But now this celibacy. Look, if I wanted to be celibate, I'd go around wearing open-toed sandals with paisley socks and wear a corduroy jacket with leather patches in the bloody sleeves, all right? Christ!
I see. Well, anyway, perhaps you'd like to have a look at it, John.
Oh, yes, I'd love to, yes.
It's particularly interesting in the second chapter, where it actually points out the advantages to the amount of time you can save.
Yes, I can see it.
I don't know why. Oh, God, it's just so old-fashioned.
The Undiscovered Chaplin. More recently unearthed footage which shows the magic of Chaplin. Here we see him with child star Ricky Brogan. The on-screen chemistry is there for all to see. only footage of Charlie and little Ricky working together. And it was to be little Ricky's last picture. Join us next week for more Undiscovered Chaplin.
Half-wit! Moron!
Now, what is happening here, you may ask?
Imbecile!
Well, Chief Inspector Turnbull is demonstrating some of the new techniques to get the bobby on the beat used to abuse, so he won't lose his temper in the face of extreme provocation. Inspector, good evening. Is it actually working?
Oh, yes, this man is highly trained. He won't react, no matter how much he is goaded. Why don't you have a try?
Right. You... twit.
I think you can be a bit stronger than that.
You twat. Twat? Why aren't you out trying to catch murderers, eh? Or booking people for speeding, only doing 35 miles an hour? Like your mates did to me last week, you great poxy dildo.
Yes, I think that's a bit...
Why don't you go home and give your daddy's uniform back, you shithead?
Yes, that's enough.
Look at the face on this one, eh? Lights on, door open, no one at home. Why don't you go and get a proper job, eh? Oh, you probably can't, can you? Only one CSE, eh?
I think that proves the point.
How's your girlfriend? How's her guide dog, eh? Crater face, you ugly bastard.
I think that's about enough, actually.
And you can piss off as well, bollock brain. Now, you've really got on my tits, you really do. You really...
Together for charity in concert, the world's greatest rock stars. John Lennon, Elvis Presley, Keith Moon, and many more in Dead Aid. By arrangement with Doris Stokes, thrill to the latest from The King.
I'm a pushing up daisies, it's a wonderful state. At last I've managed to lose some weight. I've had a nice and peaceful last 9 years, except when they dig you up with souvenirs. So I'm dead. I'm dead.
And the very latest from Lennon.
Being bad's not so bad. You get used to the pongs, and you don't have to pretend that you like Yoko songs. Oh no. Oh no.
Yes, a galaxy of dead stars. Lennon, Elvis, Mark Bolan, Buddy Holly, Jimi Hendrix, and Lionel Blair. All on the Dead Aid album. Great hits like I Heard It in the Graveyard, Rot Around the Clock, I Left My Heart in a Jar at Papworth, and the Dead Aid charity mega single, Feed the Worm.
Feed the world.
Out now on Stiff Records.
Hail, gentle Mary.
We have followed a star to worship the boy king.
We bring your child gifts of gold,
frankincense,
and myrrh.
Thank you. Is there something else?
We have read the stars and foresee that this child will show himself the Son of God.
That men will rise to follow him, and he will die to save the world.
And he will be called Messiah. And,
Yes?
well, we were just wondering whether you thought about the commercial possibilities. I mean, being Messiah, he's going to become a bit of a celebrity.
A star.
A superstar.
Well,
I mean, he could become a bit of a cult. Very lucrative craze.
Not to mention a religion.
Yeah, and there's a lot of money to be made in that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm not sure if our child should be...
We've brought along some merchandising ideas. The gentle Jesus meek and mild doll, together with 96 available costumes and its own mule.
He walks, he talks, he forgives.
Yes.
well,
Well, I have seen the Messiah of Bethlehem T-shirt in 3 different sizes.
The Jesus of Nazareth Wine Club.
The Lamb of God trainers with the waterproof soles. That marvellous.
The autobiography, Jesus, the Wilderness Years.
To mention but a few.
So if you'd just like to sign this
Yes.
franchise...
Our son was born to save the world from sin.
Yeah, well, the way we look at it is if God hadn't meant Christmas to be exploited, he wouldn't have made the Nativity so cute, would he?
No, I'm sorry. It's very nice of you to ask, but...
All right, we understand and we respect your decision.
And we worship the child. Yes. This child born to die young, to die for us all on the cross.
He's going to leave his old mum and dad in the lurch pit, isn't he? Oh, dear.
What?
Sorry, I shouldn't have even mentioned it, should I? I mean, losing the breadwinner when you're nearing retirement age is probably of secondary importance.
I'm sure God will have arranged something financially speaking.
Yeah, a pension or something.
Well, nothing's been mentioned, has it?
Well, I suppose if the worst came to the worst, we could sell off a few of his things.
Yeah, souvenirs. Yeah, it's a good idea. Sort of any old bits of woodwork he's managed to knock up, you know, pencil boxes, that sort of stuff should bring in a little bit.
Right.
Keep the wolf from the door.
Yeah.
Well, just about.
Yes. Right, well,
Yes, well...
Oh, all right. But no posing with topless models to sell sportswear.
God forbid.
absolutely.
Description.